Hey guys, welcome to Toy Chat. This is Max.
Autumn.
And Sang.
So, we, and by we I mean Sang and I, Autumn did not come with us, but we went to Disney's D23 Expo in Anaheim this past weekend. For those of you who don't know what that is, D23 is Disney's official convention, essentially.
I think they call it Disney's Ultimate Fan
Event is what they call it. Yeah, so essentially it's just a gigantic convention for everything Disney, you know, everything from classic Disney stuff to their acquisitions and properties, Marvel, Star Wars, all that good stuff. Yeah, it's essentially Disney's Comic-Con.
Yeah, so they have been doing it for about a decade now. Recently, it's every 2 years, so 2017, and then next time will be 2019. It's located in the Anaheim Convention Center, which is like down the street from Disneyland, so a lot of people who do go to the convention end up going to Disneyland afterwards.
Yes. As you can see, we bought a few things. One or two little things. So we will have a haul where we show you guys what it was that we bought. Go through that. We're gonna start with, though, just a brief overview, kind of story time of our experience. We'd like to share with you guys, if you're interested in going, what we suggest doing to prepare for it, and just some interesting, fun, and not so fun, and funny experiences we had while we were there.
So our first recommendation is, you know, if you're interested in going, try to get your tickets and hotel room early on. We unfortunately decided very last minute to go. This is our first time going. So tickets for non-members, you also can be like a gold member and platinum member of the club if you would like, and get discounts and priority registration, entry. You pay a hefty club membership fee, but you can do that. But essentially we paid like $81 per day, or you can buy a pass for all 3 days. We were lucky enough to get a hotel room that was like kind of down the street. We still had to like Uber or Lyft there, but
big recommendation, if at all possible, get a hotel that's close to the convention center, especially if you plan on buying a lot of things, because bags can get overwhelmingly heavy.
Yeah.
And you will get overwhelmingly tired really quickly.
Book early, get your flight early. If you don't live nearby.
Basically, we flew to Anaheim, and me personally, and yeah, saying at this point too, like we've been to Anaheim Disneyland many times before. I've been to the Anaheim Convention Center before, but this was our first time at this event, and we went into it slightly blind. Like, we researched as much as we could, which, by the way, the official D23 website is not that fantastic at like laying things out for you in terms of the schedule, what to expect. We would recommend downloading the D23 app. For us, it was more helpful, more informative than the website.
Yeah, like the schedule wasn't announced or uploaded until like a week or two before the convention. Even their exclusive stuff they sold there didn't even like pop up online until like the preview day, which is Thursday. So it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Thursday is the preview day for, you know, members who are like gold or platinum.
So, by the way, the event, they open the doors at
9
a.m.
Yes, but you can, if you bought tickets and you bought them as late as us, so if you bought them early, they will actually ship you your tickets. So do that, it saves you so much time. But we unfortunately didn't get our tickets in time.
Barely missed it.
Yeah, we missed the cutoff by like 30 minutes. So what happened was, yeah, we had a separate line to get
pick up
Will Call. We had to go to Will Call, which, by the way, we walked past the largest line I've ever seen in my life. They estimated there were over 60,000 people at this event. And so basically it's like winding people, and it's very different from the lines at Disneyland because there's not actually like any kind of rails or bars or chains separating like where you're supposed to turn and that kind of thing.
They literally just duct tape, bunch of tape on the ground.
Yeah, one thing I'm gonna say right off the bat in terms of recommendations, if you're someone who's like has really bad like personal space, like crowd anxiety, you may want to think twice before attending this event, because I mean, that's the case for any really like massive convention, but it's so many people, and especially when you're in line to get in. So yeah, we went to Will Call, we waited for that. It's another thing, recommendation. Another one, dress for the weather. Look ahead of time what the weather's gonna be. It was really warm when we went, and you're gonna be in the sun a lot. We'd recommend bringing like
A hat.
yeah, a hat, or even frankly an umbrella, like parasol or something.
Water.
Water.
Oh,
Bring water. Bring bottles of water. Yeah, don't dress too heavy, which is, it's hard because a lot of people like cosplay for this event. You want to show up in costume, but honestly, you might want to change into your costume later in the day. I don't know how some of these cosplayers dealt with that sun for like hours. So
props to you guys. I mean, a lot of some really good ones too. We just had normal tickets, so we were in the general line to get into the convention center. So they let in, you know, the gold members and all those people in first. So we didn't actually get in. So we were there from like 8:30 to about 11 is when we actually got inside.
once the doors open, the line starts moving really
fast,
fast.
yeah.
So that's the thing, is like if you split up with your group or something, like you have to be prepared for like when the doors open like fully and they're just letting the general public in, the line starts moving really, really fast. So you kind of have to be prepared for that. So we got inside. It's just complete overstimulation if you're a Disney fan, because there's cool stuff everywhere. You know, there's booths and structures and artwork and statues and Marvel stuff, and yeah, it was just insane. So we beelined straight for the Disney store, which I can definitely say was the longest line we waited in while we were there.
Yeah, it was kind of like Disneyland. They had a little line.
Oh, the estimated time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
estimated time, like you said, like 2.5 hour wait.
It was longer than that.
Yeah, so essentially the D23 is primarily in a large hall. So it's a very large hall. It's probably one of the largest ones like I've personally been in for a convention. So the Disney store is pretty much in the middle.
They were not given enough space for
Yeah,
how popular they are.
Well, so the Disney store itself is kind of set up like an art gallery. It's like two rooms, one for like all the merchandise, another room is for like the cashiers, and yeah, so it's just a completely white room with products all over the place. But before you can't just run inside and like line up and make your purchase. You literally line up outside just to get into the Disney store. They let in about 40 or 50 people at a time.
Yeah.
So
in terms of like lines in general, one of the most painful things about this event, it's not even really just a matter of being on your feet a lot. I mean, you do that in Disneyland, as a lot of you may know, but the difference with this con is you're in these excruciatingly long lines, and there's not really any relief from like standing still, because as soon as you're done, you know, you don't get to sit on a ride. You essentially have to move to your next priority, you know, at the con.
I mean, one of our recommendations, go as a group, like more than 2 maybe even. 3 people at least, someone can stand in line with you while someone else like goes to the bathroom or buy food.
Figure out your priorities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard since they don't announce things until like the day of, so it's kind of hard.
Would you say the Disney store had most of the D23 exclusives?
Yeah, by far had the most exclusives.
Yeah, so essentially for a
So
little
it's
bit
worth it.
for a little bit of context, so when we say the Disney store, it is literally like the corporate Disney store, like the Disney stores you see in your mall, like that kind of thing. So it's their merchandise, which means what that encompasses is pretty much the Disney fairy tale designer dolls, the like plushies, figures, pins, clothes, like yeah. So it's pretty much a majority of like the first party.
Yeah, it's not gonna be the
Disney,
stuff you're gonna find in stores. They don't stock things that you can easily find like on their website, or if you have a local Disney store. It's majority of it is their exclusives.
Now here's the good news. I saw that a lot of people, especially the doll collectors out there, were really worried and paranoid that like if you go to this event, like you might not even be able to get the dolls you want because they're so limited, and like, you know, if over 60,000 people are, you know, expected at this event, and some of the doll counts are limited to as low as 1,000. What was really nice is we were nowhere near the first. I mean, how many people do you think like guesstimation
So
were in front
we
of us?
got in at 11, and then
yeah.
we didn't get into inside the Disney store for another 3 hours. So So we didn't actually get into like two.
Yeah, and doll-wise, we got everything we wanted. Everything.
Yeah, so they restocked really quickly. Like say one of the sets were out, they will pull out more for you. Just keep in mind that there are some exclusive that they will only sell a certain amount per day. So what they do is they have a cutoff on how much they're gonna sell today, and then you have to come back tomorrow.
Another huge suggestion if you're gonna go, I would say taking away from this experience, it's not so much worth going if you're only going for one day. Or if you are only going for one day, you need to embrace the fact that you will only be able to prioritize one set of things that you want to do.
And keep in mind that, so we went on Friday and we just went for one day. And not everything was available for pickup. Like for example, once they sold out of something, they won't sell it again until the following day. So say something is limited to 1,000 pieces, the first maybe 300 people get them back, like on Friday, and they'll restock again on Saturday. And there are some sets that weren't available on Friday, like for example, like the 17-inch dolls. They had displays for them, but they weren't sold until the following day. Yeah. So we missed out on like Snow White and all that just because they were only sold on Saturday.
My line of thinking is for going for multiple days, you literally, like if you're a toy collector but you're also really interested in just other Disney stuff like movies and all that, you really need to prioritize one day for the merch and one day for all the panels you want. What is unfortunate about that is, of course, those two might overlap. Yeah. But the good news is, in terms of merch, technically speaking, because they restock the merch like each day, you could theoretically get the merch you want like on a different day. Yeah,
and you just go to the panels.
Prioritize it at the beginning of the day.
You never know. That's the thing. You never know how popular something is. Like for example, like if like say Snow White is super popular, like while she is like 1,000 pieces, maybe 1,000 people pick her up, and then you miss out because you decide to go to the Disney store on Sunday. So it's something you're gonna have to risk.
Somebody told you guys that Friday was actually not as busy as like Saturday would be.
Someone I was talking.
So maybe Friday would be the prime shopping day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but just keep in mind the thing is the Disney store want you to come back every day, so they don't stock everything out for you.
The thing too, very important. When you go into the Disney store, if you do not see the item, especially the doll you want there, don't like walk away and leave and assume you can't get it. They were literally like stuff was selling out, like especially the Incredibles set, like it was going really quickly, but they kept carting out like masses of restock. Like I actually, when I grabbed one of the dolls I grabbed, I thought it was like, oh, it was the last two, but then I was like, oh, they put out a ton more. So yeah, so just be persistent, be diligent. You know, patient.
If you're in line for 3 hours, might as well like split up. Like people can go get food and
take a break.
Take a break. So I know we talk about the Disney store, and Disney store is not just the only thing that you should go to. A lot of exclusives are at the Disney store, so we do recommend if you want any exclusive, head there first. Get it out of the way, unless there's a panel you want to see. But besides the Disney store, there is a bunch of little booths of like Disney affiliated vendors,
third-party vendors,
who have merchandise that are again exclusive to the con or pre-release at the con. So basically, you can purchase it before anyone else.
There was one exclusive. Yeah. Honestly, I think the only reason we were able to get it was because we split up. There was one. There was Jada Toys had two different types of exclusives. One was a metallic Sorcerer Mickey figure, which unfortunately was one of the only things I wanted that I was not able to get. And the other one was a metallic Briar Rose and Maleficent Dragon set. And which, there's a story about that. There was, when I say be diligent, I'm serious, because there was, you can tell what the lady said to you when you walked up.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because like it's just a madhouse. But when I was in line for the exclusive that weren't at the Disney store, the Maleficent and like the Mickey, the Sorcerer's Mickey, one of the members came out and she was holding up a sign that says out of stock, and she was like, just let you guys know we are out of Sorcerer Mickey for the day, come back tomorrow, we'll have more stock. So that, like I said, like they only stock a certain amount per day. And then she also said, yeah, we're very low stock right now at the Maleficent and Aurora set. So there's no point in waiting, but you can if you want. And then she walked away. So a lot of people just like left, like now there's no point. So I left, but I went back in line and I stood in line while Max took his break.
So I split up with them, and I go back to the booth, just like offhandedly too, because I was I almost didn't, because I was like, no, I was like saying, I'm sure, you know, like whether, you know, it was probably correct, whatever. Mm-hmm. So I happened to go back there, and I physically see that there's like several like sets of the Briar Rose and Maleficent Dragon sets like just sitting on the floor of this booth. And I go up, and sure enough, like this lady who I was so sure was the one saying talk to, like waving this sign, like saying like, okay, this is the end of the line, and you know, like this stuff is selling out quick, and Sorcerer Mickey's gone, and you know, I don't know if you guys want to wait, like this stuff might be gone, and blah blah blah. And I'm like, there are over 20 pieces I see on the floor. There are less than 20 people in this line. And I asked the lady, I said like, are those on the floor, like people can purchase those, are those available? She's like, well, yeah, but you know, I don't know, like, you know, you don't know what's gonna happen between like here and the 11 people that are in front of you. I'm like, lady, like, so I went ahead and got in line despite her trying to ward me off, and sure enough, I was able to get two, like one for myself and Sang. So
maybe she was trying to save one for herself.
Maybe.
Oh, plot twist.
Yeah, make some friends, you know, like this cool bag right here. Like, saw someone who had it, and I asked them like, oh, where did you get that? And they were like, oh, there's a Funko Pop booth, and they were giving these away when you purchase something from them. So that's what I did on my break when I went there, and I got a bag, and they were doing the Disney
Funko Disney Treasures box.
Yeah, so I got a previous month plus next month box, which we probably review once it's out. Would you rather buy stuff or go to a panel? Because the panels, there's some really cool panels, like they show upcoming movies and trailers, and you meet, you know, the stars of the movies and films. The lines for those are ridiculously long too. Like, people camp out at night for them, so.
There was a sad moment where so our second stop, by the way, was the Disney Dream Store, which is essentially, for some godforsaken reason, was given more space than the Disney Store, but it was so it was way less of a line. It was only like an hour or less of a line. And the Dream Store is essentially, it's like the Disney artists, so it's Disney artwork, paintings, and I will show you the stuff I picked up from there. But after we got out of that line, we were like desperately trying to race to this panel. We were just such poor unfortunate souls in this moment. We literally went like up to where we were supposed to go for this panel, which was the reveal of like footage from the upcoming Wreck-It Ralph sequel and Coco, the new Pixar movie. And we show up, and the security guard's like, oh, like that's full. Like, you know, there was like a line for that for a really long time, and we were like, oh, great. So
yeah, don't expect to walk into something, because the majority of the time it's probably full by the time you get there.
Expect to wait in line for anything that you perceive will be popular, anything at all. So essentially, yeah, you have to assume that the panels and the celebrity appearances and stuff like that will be equally or more popular than like the super popular merch you're waiting for.
A portion of the hall was the Disney Store, and around it are booths of, retailers that, are associated with Disney. And then the next section on the side of it is like Disney film, like props and exclusive looks at like their films. So you can walk around, like there's a Star Wars area where they showed off like the Star Wars land that's coming out.
I'll show that right here, yeah. It's very cool.
And then there was, like a Pixar area, which was really funny because like they had like an area for like The Incredibles 2, and like we were standing there, and like there was like an Edna mold like statue, and like we want to take pictures of it, and they had like a big poster or like wall of like the logo, and like a bunch of like these cast members like was shooing us away, and this guy comes along.
It's like his entourage.
Yeah, it was like his entourage. Like they were like, "Excuse me, guys, sorry, like we just need to hold here for a second." And like he takes a picture with like the statue at Edna, and I was like, he looks really familiar. I know I've seen him somewhere. Like doing an interview or something. And like one of the guys, one of the other like attendees were like, "Oh, that's Brad Bird. He's the director of The Incredibles." And like, I'm like, "Oh wow, like that's really cool." And he like didn't really look at anybody. He like took a picture and like left. So
that's the way to do it.
Yeah,
it's the best way to do this con. Be famous.
Yes, make
be
that
escorted.
work out. Yeah, there was like some of the costumes and fashion stuff from the Marvel movies. We saw the Black Panther costume and all kinds of cool stuff. They were demoing Disney games. Of course, are a big deal at this event. We saw the next Marvel vs. Capcom, which looks disappointing, and the of course. A lot of you might know there was a Kingdom Hearts 3 reveal at this event. And yeah, there was a lot of cool stuff. And in terms of what Sam was talking about, the other section was just a bunch of like third-party vendors. Once you're done, that's the nice thing. Kind of there's a little bit of relief from the horror of the lines and crowds is, once you're done with like the high intensity, like crazy popular stuff, it's really just like a chill standard con. Like you can literally
walk
just
around, chill. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's pretty cool. And then the third section of the hall was reserved for, more like average vendors, like people who were, if you ever went to like a convention before, they're like, they sell like merchandise that are, a little bit harder to find, or like their own personal stuff. Like, so there was Disney, like people who like display Disney pins they own, you can trade with them or purchase from them. There's a lot of pins, someone was selling a bunch of, Funko Pops, and then, there's a lot of art that was there too.
Yeah, so I mean, essentially our takeaway from the whole thing, number one, would we go again? I personally would say yes. I would just plan differently. I would go more than one day.
Follow the hashtag D23Expo.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, there's loads of ways you can learn about it. Get ready to spend a lot of money because everything's expensive. Be excited, have fun, but also don't get disappointed if there's something you can't get to or you miss out on something because you're doing something else. It's a fun experience regardless. Enjoy your time while you're there.
It's definitely possible to, be underprepared and just head into it being too naive, and we would not recommend that.
Yeah. If you're a Disney fan, you're gonna be a true Disney fan. You have to have endurance. Okay.
I mean, it's like we said, it's like a Disneyland trip, but
no relief. Ultimate Disney fan experience.
Yeah.
That's all that really needs to be said.
Yes. I just feel like it's like getting to the point where maybe they should have a capacity cap like Comic-Con, because
it was pretty bad. I mean, once you're inside, it's not that bad.
It's really not that. Honestly, I didn't feel overwhelmed by the amount of people around me, aside from when we were in line outside. Yeah. Once you're inside, like saying, it's a really big convention center, so it's a sizable venue. So yeah,
there's people who come there strictly just to go to the store. And there's some people who go there strictly just go to the panels and be able to see stuff earlier. So it's just whatever you like, you do that. If you want to do everything, it's a little harder.
Alright, so that was our story time / experience at Disney's D23 Expo for 2017. Another video will be coming, hopefully it could just coincide with this one, of our haul. This one it took too long, we need to split them into two. So head over to our next video if you would like to see the haul of all the cool fun stuff we bought. Let us know in the comments if you guys are interested in D23, if you went yourselves, if you want to go, if you have any questions specifically about the event.
If you have stuff we want them.
Yeah, no, for real. Hit us up if you have
those Sorcerer Mickeys.
The Jada Sorcerer Mickey, or the
I want the Snow White, the
17-inch Snow White, or the Tsum Tsum exclusive metallic Buzz Lightyear. DM me or hit us up in the comments, and hopefully we'll see you in the haul video. Bye.